All right.
Okay.
So that's ready. Let's
A lot
start.
of friends coming up here.
All right, we'll get started now. Hello, Yarbo enthusiasts. Welcome to the first Yarbo User Exchange Forums. Right. So I'm Ethan.
I'm Rachel.
And today we are honored to introduce a valued Yarbo family member as our guest. He has been with us this journey for years, sharing our goals and witnessing Yarbo's continuous improvement and dedications. He has been incredibly supportive and positively engaged, helping us beta testing through all Yarbo products iterations, also providing valuable feedbacks for improvements. Let's welcome Scott Grams. Round of applause.
Hello, all. Well, thanks for joining me this morning.
Right. So first we wanna discuss, share with you Yarbo journey for the past few years, and then we will have a small discussion on the experience you had from last year, and then it will be open Q&A sessions, right? And if we have time, we can discuss the future modules, roadmaps, and just right. So I'll start with the Yarbo's journey from last year, and we actually had a pretty successful Kickstarter campaign last year, and we raised over $3.4 million on the Kickstarter platform, and we have successfully delivered over 1,000 units
of the snowblower.
Snowblower
Yeah,
mod. Yes,
this past
2003.
winter.
And that's the one that Scott Graham had. And as you can see behind Scott Graham, he has all the all the Yarbo iterations products previously. It's from I think Snowball from 2019, right?
Yes.
All the way to the latest lawnmower module.
Yeah, the pre-production of the 23 lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah. So the first thing that I would like you to share with the crowd is that what brought you into Yarbo?
Well, originally it started, I was a robot tester for another lawnmower. Well, after I got into testing that a little bit, I started doing a little bit more nosing around, and I stumbled across Yarbo on one of the platforms. And I live in central Minnesota, so snow is a huge concern here. So I was extremely intrigued by the snow blowing capabilities autonomously of Yarbo, and that's really what got me hooked and started following it. So
Right, cool.
It's the multi-modular, the fact that it's able to do all of my yard care that I don't want to do all at once.
Right.
So it's mainly the snowblower that attracted your attention more back in
That's
20.
correct. Yep. As I say, I was doing a little bit of testing on another robotic mower, and once I saw the snowblower, I knew that was something I wanted to get into. I semi enjoy yard work. I don't mind mowing my lawn, but snow blowing is definitely not something I look forward to getting up in the morning, going out and doing. So, and the fact that it could do all of the above was really what shifted my focus and leaned way, towards the Yarbo family.
Great, thanks. And so when you first got the units, how was it like to install the Yarbo system?
So I was actually lucky enough to get a version before they shipped to most of the backers, and that was more by chance than anything else. You guys obviously, you had a place set up here in Chanhassen, Minnesota, and you had a couple of extra units, and one of your members reached out and asked me if I'd be willing to pick one up and test it. Of course, I jumped over all that. So I did a ground install for my first year. So yeah, I want to say I picked it up on a Friday night, and we had I think it was a 20-inch snowstorm coming, or no, 12-inch snowstorm coming that following day. So yeah, I just opted for the ground install, got it set up pretty quick, but it's pretty straightforward and simple. I mean, probably half hour before I had it assembled and up, and then, another 35, 40 minutes to get it learned.
How was sorry. I was just gonna ask, how was the setup for the RDK? Because that one has to be installed at the highest point of your house, right?
and
Well,
did the ground installation.
Oh, the ground, oh, sorry about
yeah,
that.
I did the
Okay.
ground install, and even currently I don't have it the highest point. It just, I mean, I've had extremely good luck with both my internet connection and my RTK. But I've got an open view of the sky, and it's literally located just off the lower peak of my garage. I mean, the higher the better, ideally, but for my situation, my RDK is in the open. I've got a pretty open view to the sky, and pretty much line of sight to everything I do with the snowblower at this point where it's located. Not that that's required, but I mean, that's why I didn't really worry about pushing it up higher.
All right. So did you encounter any hiccups during the installation?
There, I did encounter some hiccups, but I can't necessarily say they were Yarbo related. Me being a geek guy and don't want to read the directions, I breezed through some of the setup screens, not reading exactly what they wanted done. So I did have some issues with the process of establishing the Wi-Fi connection to the unit by not connecting to the
Mhm.
rover first to do that. So, I mean, first and foremost, I would say it's everybody's excited when they get their hands on this, and I had a snowstorm come the day. Just take the time to actually read all the words on the screen when you're setting it up, and that would have breezed me through it.
Right. So yeah, we will be releasing more tutorial videos on the installation and also on the setup. So yeah, for this year. And then yeah, I think let's move on to the performance. Right.
So
Mhm.
go ahead.
Let's go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. What
I
are
mean,
some?
performance-wise, the first year, I mean, I got to test it a lot. I mean, between most of my neighbors and community thought I was nuts. I mean, we had, to me, it was the kid that opened up his remote control car on Christmas. I played. So that first year we got, I believe, 71 inches of snow here in Minnesota. Well, and that wasn't even quite enough for me. I would use Yarbo to clear the driveway, and then I would actually take my snow blower and snow blow the snow back off my lawn back into the driveway. Um, the performance was really good. I learned a lot, and the more you play with it, the more you learned. I learned the areas I struggled and how to get Yarbo to deal with them better. But for in the 2022 version, I would say I successfully had Yarbo handling 80% of my snowfalls. And as I say, part of that was the errors in the way I was using it, either waiting too long to send it out or taking wet heavy slush and trying to do too low of a quantity. So there is a little bit of a learning curve to learning how to modify your snow deposit areas and such for better performance.
Got it. What are some challenging situations for Yarbo, like when you were did you encounter?
Right now, my biggest challenge is, the snowplow area. I mean, the two things I'm really focusing on, as I say, the 2022 version specifically, I had, more issues. By the end of last year, I've got 85, I was probably closer to 95% Yarbo doing all of my snow removal without assistance. I was actually completing 100%, but some of the wet slush was giving me still some issues. And I think we've got some ideas on how we can improve on that and get it closer to 99%. But wet snow is a little bit of a challenge, and there's definitely factors us as users can do that will enhance it. I've resorted to applying a product called Adams ceramic coating to the inside of the snowblower that makes it extremely slippery, and that really enhanced the wet snow performance. And typically, I've been able to get it to last a year. So it takes me about 10 or 15 minutes to apply in the fall and put it on, and it normally gets me through the year. But that's greatly increased my wet snow capabilities, and that was one of the main challenges. And then, your snow deposit. Ideally, Yarbo is designed to go out every 3 or 4 inches and clear the snow, not wait till the end of the snowstorm. So depending on the length of the snowstorm and what the city does for me as far as plowing, if they wait till the end of the event, the end of the driveway can still be a little bit of a struggle. And that's probably where, a guy would end up giving it most of its assistance,
Yeah,
in the
we
long,
understand.
it's just not predictable. You can't get the city plow to come and clear the snow from the road earlier. And I have figured there's ways I can minimize the impact of Yarbo on that too. If I clear a little bit of snow along my curb line to
Mhm.
when the snow comes by, it dumps the bulk of the snow there. And then, it doesn't that much don't end up on my, the end of my driveway.
Right. Right. Thanks for sharing. And let's move on to the app, Yarbo app, user interface and control. So what do you think about the controller and the app? There's something you want to share?
Well, both of them are set up extremely well. And as I say, I've morphed through the changes. So as we know, when we first got the 2023, or the 2022 versions, there's been a lot of changes in the functionalities and the buttons. And as I say, it's slowly improving. It's definitely one of the best ones I've used. It's pretty straightforward. As I say, there's a couple of minor things that I've discussed I would like to see changed. I'm not really a fan of the way it changes drive speeds by the push of the button. Your older community, and you're not your video gamers. It's too easy to push the slow button and slow it down when you're using the joystick controllers. As I said, I've played a little bit with the Snowbot, and I'm actually liking his setup better. But I'm sure, as I say, Yarbo's been really good at finding the issues and working through them and finding solutions. But yeah, the app seems to work smooth. There's granted still a few connectivity issues with it in the 2023 model, but I believe the enhancements in the 2024, the Bluetooth connectivity instead of the Wi-Fi connectivity of the
Yes.
remotes and stuff, I think that's going to greatly enhance that. And I think that's 99% of the problems are going to be cured with that improvement alone.
That's right. Yeah, we are using Bluetooth this year.
Yep.
Right. So what about the maintenance for Yarbo and durability?
I've had, as I say, relatively very little issues. I mean, my Adam ceramic coating in the springs to use it. I haven't even got to the point. I'm mostly concrete driveway surfaces here. I do have a pathway I go across my grass, but I've had relative. It's the switching over to winter, and summer. There's not really much that's got to be done. It's been pretty much trouble free. A couple of minor issues. I mean, my biggest concern at this point is the come spring when you switch over back. If I use 2-in-1, so right now I purchased a 3-in-1 package. Well, 178 is a magical number. It's the number of screws required to put the track inserts in. That means there's 178 screws required to remove them. That is the only thing it's a half hour, 40 minutes a year, your time to either remove or install the track inserts for the grass. Other than that, I mean, it's been pretty much maintenance free. I ceramic coat it in the spring and, for the most part, or in the fall before the season. And for the most part, it's pretty maintenance free. I've got plenty of gas equipment. My gas definitely requires more maintenance time with oil changes and such.
That's right. Right. So the last question from me is going to be customer support and services. What are your experiences for that?
Absolutely second to none. I mean, it's been excellent. I don't, there's no complaints there. I mean, I did know, I say it slowed down here a little bit as we started delivering mass units, but slowing down meant, instead of getting an hour response within hours, you might have waited 6 hours or maybe to the next business day. I mean, Yarbo, that is one area where they're clearly at this point second to none. Their follow-up, their support, it's, even through the normal channels, it's, as a beta tester, I've got some other channels, but there's a couple of events that I've dealt through just the normal customer channels, and the feedback, the support, the messaging, the follow-up, Yarbo is, as I say, I don't think they've got any competition in that. I mean, and it's talking to, I've got a lot of friends now that have made that are running Yarbos too. I've got 3 of my friends that have come over and experienced mine and are purchasing it, and probably 3 or 4 more people where I've offered home demos that have come to get them, and their results are all the same. I mean, when it comes to customer support and feedback, you guys definitely got the ball game there. I had one last year that had an issue with his S1 snowblower, and he was amazed at the process that you guys didn't require him to ship the other one back. He says 2 days later, the new one showed up. We backed the other one up, sent it back. There was none of the maintenance or repair headaches. I mean, it's your dedication to keeping the customers with a working product was extremely impressive to him.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. At Yarbo, we are always customer oriented, and we do listen to our customers. Like you all asked for a user exchange forum, and here we are. We put it on
Yes.
very quickly, and really appreciate Scott for his time. And yeah, okay. So for now, I think it's a time just for the open QA sessions, and I think we threw some good questions in there and to open up the forum, and it's majorly for you guys, right? So let's
If there's any questions, you can just please raise your hand
Mhm.
in the webinar, so we can go like one.
yeah, let's do it in a open discussion here, and then just raise your hand, and then I will unmute you, and then you can ask your questions to Scott and or to us, and we'll get it answered. All right.
Okay.
Um,
I think Betty has asked a question for the driveway. See it in the.
right.
How do I-
Gonna see the chat.
Yeah. So Betty question is she has a 1/4 mile paved driveway with a paved area at the top of the driveway, which usually has 6 cars to move around. And I'm wondering what issues I may have, especially when moving around the vehicles. So Scott, did you encounter this issue for last winter? Like having cars parked on the driveway while Yarbo was operating?
Well, Yarbo, of course, last year's 2023 version, Yarbo won't recognize the vehicle and automatically go around it. I believe that's potentially going to change in the next model, but no-go
It is.
zones for Yarbo were extremely easy. They've got pre-populated boxes. You click on create a no-go zone, position the box where the car is parked, and Yarbo will then at that point navigate around the car without issues. So as I say, next year's version, if it'll automatically detect and go around the cars, I mean, that's going to completely solve that issue. But really, it's not a huge issue to add. And once you have your no-go zones specified, if the car always parks in the same direction, they're easy to toggle on and off depending on if the car's there at that point or not. I mean, you don't have to recreate it. If the car is gone, you turn off that no-go zone. If the car is back again, you turn it on, and if it's parked at a different spot, then you just have to go into the app and create another no-go zone where that car is parked. And the process of that, once you've done it once or twice, is probably a 2-minute process done from the inside of your house.
Right. So just add on to that, for the 2023 version, we have not able to activate the obstacle avoidance features because it was using a monocular camera, right? So for the latest version, 2024 version, it's going to be a binocular camera, which we can finally enable the obstacle avoidance systems, and it can automatically detect your cars and other obstacles and bypass it automatically.
Yep. Okay, I think our users are also asking the name of the spray Scott, the
The
spray you
coating?
mentioned. Yeah.
The coating.
I'm sorry, the
For
name
the,
of the spray. It's I'm
snow
using
free, yeah.
Adams graphene ceramic polish. It's roughly, now it's a little spendy for the bottle. I want to say the bottle was $200. It's extremely easy to apply, and a bottle will probably last a person 6 or 7 snow seasons. So they do make a cheaper line of the product. The difference between most of your ceramic coatings is the actual thickness of the protection. With snow is extremely abrasive as it's hard chemical, or had hard ice crystals. So I opted for the more expensive, thicker one, and that tends to get me through the whole winter season, so I don't have to deal with applying in the middle of January or February when it's cold. But yeah, the one I chose to use is Adam's graphene ceramic coating. And there's a couple of different products out there, but that one seems to have worked really well for me last year. You know, I've applied it to the outside as well. It stops the snow buildup from the top, or helps with the snow buildup on the top side. But inside, all the interior components where the snow is moving is really where you want to apply it. And it's literally like wiping on and wiping off a wax. If you apply it to a car, it's technical because your application's got to be perfect as far as the amount you put on. If you've got a run or a little excess on the inside of the mower, it's not going to matter. It's not, it's the run would be a cosmetic thing, not a performance thing, and it doesn't really matter.
All right, just to add on to that, for the 2024 version, we have changed the snowshoe to metal, to steel, right? The previous version was plastics, right? For the 2024 versions, we have pre-coated it. Because it's metal, we are able to apply our coatings directly. And so yeah, it will have a better performance overall. Yep.
Okay.
Small.
So let's move forward to next question from Betty as well. Yeah, I think Betty's asking about the plow attachment. So Scott, did you get a plow for last winter?
I did not do a plow. I mean, as I say, it's our snow conditions here change so rapidly. I didn't want to. My goal for Yarbo, my personal goal as a tester, is to try to get it to do 100% without the plow attachment. I do know a lot of people had success. I've talked to people that have had it for your really wet and heavy snow, but I didn't personally test it. I mean, as I say, I wanted to focus more, my testing side of me wanted to figure out how to get it done without the plow attachment. So but as I say, the plow will work good. That the issue in my world is that still leaves the snow on the side of your driveway to be dealt with. Next time Yarbo goes out to snow blow, I mean, if you haven't pushed that back beyond the banks, at some point you got to get it out of its normal work area. He's still got to deal with it.
Right. So for the plow attachment, last year we just released a plow mode, but we are still fine tuning that. So we have independent algorithms on the load calculations, and yeah, it will have a better performance this year, definitely.
Okay.
So
let's move on to the next question. So from Betty, I'm wondering about the ongoing costs as far as maintenance. So yeah, what's the maintenance going with Scott so far for Yarbo?
Other than the ceramic coating, as I say, my maintenance costs have been almost none. I mean, I don't know the longevity of how long the tracks and blah, blah, blah are going to last. I know Yarbo's got I believe, a 2-year warranty on everything else beyond that. But my Yarbo, as I say, is seeing it in excess of work of what the average household's going to see. I do more work with my Yarbos in a year than most people are going to do in probably 5. I really haven't had any. I'm really doing. So I've got 2 driveways of my own. I do my neighbor's driveway as well. She's a senior citizen, and from time to time, if the weather's nice and I feel like setting up another area, I've actually ventured off and done others' neighbors' driveways. So mine's getting way more use than your average person's going to in a residential situation. And realistically, I mean, I've had a couple of nuts and bolts that have loosened up and tightened up, but money-wise, the cost has been minimal to none. I think, I mean, my biggest investment by far is the ceramic coating.
right. So since you mentioned the bolts, we actually had some complaints about the bolts was getting rusted.
Yep.
And yeah, so we have collected those complaints, and we have enhanced the 2024 versions. Actually, we have changed all the screws and to be anti-rusty. Is it called?
Yeah.
Resistance to just rust, right? So there's that. And then at Yarbo, we really care about customer service and after sales. And maybe Scott I'm not sure if you have changed your units ever, but we do offer a quick exchange for all the units if there's actually an issue happen.
Right. I haven't personally had to exchange one yet to this point, but I do have. No, I take that back. I did exchange some of the 22 versions, but you guys were couple of miles from me, so I was able to drive an exchange. I mean, hours, but the two people I know that have had mail and exchanges, yeah, they've been impressed. I mean, they come a couple of days later via FedEx, I believe, and you know, you guys didn't even have to wait for them to ship their old unit back.
That's
you know,
right.
they got their new unit, packed the old one up, then sent it back. So yeah,
Mhm.
it is a very quick replacement process.
Right.
Yeah, and also shared a link of the maintenance tips we've provided on our website. So if you guys curious about it, please check it out. And all right, let's move on to the next question from Steve. I own a Luba, and one issue is the connection. Connection is poor positioning status. Will this be a problem for Yarbo as well? So for the RDK. The connection.
Connection one issues for positioning status.
Mhm.
Could you elaborate more on the for positioning status?
Like bad GPS?
Is it GPS or Wi-Fi connections or internet connections? So if it's Wi-Fi, you don't have to worry about because with the Wi-Fi Halo, Yarbo can basically work offline, right? So it covers like 31 acres in at your yard, so obstructed areas, right? And then the Yarbo rover is connected to the data center through the Wi-Fi Halo. So they are more like a local network, regardless of your internet situation.
Okay. And another question from Betty. So we can easily change the no-go and the yes-go zones. Yes, we have the drag in no-go zone feature in the app. So say like there's a car parked on the driveway, like temporarily, you can just drag a no-go zone to cover that area. And when the car is moved, you can just like remove that no-go zone. But as Ethan just mentioned, for this year, the latest snowblower, you actually do not need to create that no-go zone because the latest version Yarbo will enable the obstacle avoidance feature, meaning that like whenever there's any cars or any other obstacles in front of Yarbo, it would just like navigate around it.
Yes. So the logic behind it is pretty simple. It's just like the human eyes, right? If the obstacle is really obvious in front of cameras, it will be detected and be marked in the Yarbo system, right? But if it comes to a small stake or not that obvious object, it might having trouble detected. But a car definitely, it can see a car.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next question. Does the snowblower work only in the day or at night too? Can it be set up to automatically remove the snow day or night? So about the scheduling feature, I believe.
Yes. So
Yes,
yeah,
the scheduling.
yeah,
Go ahead,
Yarbo can
Scott.
work day or night, and I do a little combination of both. I mean, if I'm expecting a snowstorm in the middle of the night, I will actually set up the timer to have Yarbo go out. It's on its own. If we're talking 2 to 3 inches of snow, a lot of times I forego that, and I will start Yarbo in the morning when I wake up. Normally, he's got the driveways cleared before I get out of the shower and ready to walk out the door. But yeah, it does operate day or night. I know that in the community, there's been some concern about, you know, the snowblower is considerably louder operating than the lawnmower is, and there's been some concern. But you know, I've checked with my neighbors; none of them can even hear it operating at night. If you were sleeping with your windows open in the winter, you might hear it operating at 3 o'clock in the morning. But you know, your average household where you've got snow is insulated with the window shut. You really don't hear it operate at all. Your neighbors aren't going to hear it operating if you send it out at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Also, with the headlights turned on, Yarbo's camera can still functions at night, and we have showed this picture in our in last night's demo. But let me try to find it. Oh, here it is. If you can see it, so that's basically the camera vision at night with the highlights on, and yeah, it still enables the obstacle avoidance. All right.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Is the app only on the phone or can you handle it on the computer? So currently, Yarbo, I think the app supported on tablets and phones, but not on the computer, right? We don't have
The app?
Yeah.
No, we don't have a public version of that. But if you request that from us, we can definitely send you a install version of the desktop for desktop.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
do have the desktop version.
Yeah, for development for us. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, moving forward to the next question. Living in the state of Ohio, are there any dealers set up or repair stations going on to be set up in the US? Scott mentioned that he has Yarbo near him in Minnesota. What are the future plans?
Right. So
Definitely.
we actually have our. You wanna dive into this?
Let me just clarify here real quick for him though. Yarbo was just set up here temporarily. I do not have a dealer actually in Minnesota. So I am doing the same process everybody else. If I have an issue, I've got to do the warranty return. They were up here set up just for one winter to do some testing, was the only reason I was able to do exchanges. But yeah, so Yarbo does not have a location here in Minnesota yet either.
Right.
Just wanted to
So
clarify
actually
that.
we have. Yeah,
Go
we have Sam in the room with us, and he's actually in charge of. Yeah, he's actually in charge of making new contracts with the repair shops and also other dealers for local repairs. And yeah, I think it's an ongoing process, and we will make we will give out a dealer map.
Yes,
right,
yes.
right, dealer map
On
for the
the,
US.
Yeah, into
on our website.
like
In 2 months?
Yeah.
In 1 month. Okay. So yeah, we are pushing that for local repairs. Yes.
and we got our repair center in New Jersey, in Texas, and LA.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
New Jersey, Texas, and LA for current. We do have repair shops.
that's Yarbo's repair shop, right? Not the partners.
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 Okay, I see. All right. Yeah, we'll keep you guys updated in our community definitely on this. And all right, let's move forward to Darla's question. Will Yarbo be offering any additional protection plan warranty for extended coverage beyond the 2 years? After warranty is over, will there be service centers where they can receive maintenance or repairs?
Yes. Repair centers. Yes, just like we mentioned. We just mentioned. And after 2 years, I think definitely there's gonna be more repair shops and after sales. And extended warranties.
We haven't really.
Yeah, we haven't really decided on this, but I think 2 years is a pretty decent offering, right?
But we can surely provide some like standard warranty service or maintenance service directly from Yarbo.
Mhm.
So that's definitely in the roadmap.
Well, as I mentioned before, we are customer oriented, and if there's a lot of customers requiring, like they want actual warranty after a year of warranty, we would definitely consider it. Just like we changed the policies for the refund and exchange there, right? So it only activates after you enable Yarbo. So yeah, there's that.
Okay. All right. Let's give Scott some questions. How about that? So, is there an API planned for integration into Home Assistant or other automations?
No, that's
This is actually
for us.
yeah,
okay.
for us. Yeah.
Oh yeah, API is definitely possible and is on the roadmap, but currently we do not have the development resources to enable it, because we need to make sure if we go open source, we need to make sure first safety issues, right? We have no idea what our customers gonna create with the open API, right? And then second, we need to make sure our code is well protected. And but for now, we don't have the resources to build that, and but we'll definitely do it in the future.
Okay. All right, let's move forward to the next question. Are there plans to putting the app on the desktop computer? Yeah, as Ethan just mentioned, I think we do have the desktop version for the app. But the thing is, when you're setting up Yarbo with the app, I think it's better to be like right next to it, right? Because if you're like drawing the map or setting different parameters, it will be better to see like how actually Yarbo operates at that moment or in that environment.
Yeah, it's you really need to be with the Yarbo when you are doing the mappings. And but afterwards, if you want to start a work plan or if you want to check on the status for Yarbo, yes, you can use the desktop version. But if you all ask for it, I will definitely make sure we make a public version of it and release it on our website after sales. Yes.
Okay. And I think Thomas just elaborated on the question about Luba's connection issue. I think to start mowing back to garage, gather status data, battery mode area.
So like internet connection issue.
I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
Is it the same?
So
No, it's actually not the same.
Oh, not the same.
Now the following up for that question
Okay.
as well. Didn't get this. Yeah, Thomas, would you please elaborate a little bit on your question and we can go over this afterwards? And I think this question is for Scott. So if your Yarbo accidentally runs over dog poop, how will it affect it?
It will
Did you
take the dog
inquire-
poop and put it wherever the snow is. I actually use it in my dog kennel to clear the dog kennel for my dog, and it's just snow. So it'll go in and out just like snow would. A dog doesn't really affect it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And to the next question, if you have cameras and it goes around obstacles, do you need to set up no-go zones?
No, that's the whole point. So for now, Yarbo will automatically mark that zone as a no-go zone. If you want to remove it and you think that's just a temporary obstacles, you can remove it from your app. But when Yarbo is operating, it bypass that obstacle automatically, and it will mark that area as a no-go zone. And then if you decide it's not, it's just temporary thing, and then you can just remove it from the map.
Okay. So we got next question coming from Rome. When snowblowing is the forward speed based on the AMP, draw off the auger, or is it just go, go, go until it jams up, backs up, and tries again? I think Scott can yeah, go
I
on
can
this.
answer that. It does slow down depending on load. I mean, there's a performance slider and an enhancement where you get to determine how quickly it'll slow down when it encounters a heavier load, but it is self-adjusting. That if it goes through, if it's going through snow and it gets into a deeper or thicker area, it will automatically compensate, slow down until it gets through that, and then pick back up when it's through the heavier area, such as a snowdrift.
Okay.
Great.
All right, I think that's most of the questions in our chat. And if you guys want to like just turn on your microphone and just chat like in person, that's fine as well. And but I think we got another question from Betty. How long does the battery go before the Yarbo knows to return for charging? Reason I ask is because my house is high on a hill and the low part is at a road. I have concerns too about how Yarbo handles the transportation department's snowplow. Think that Scott, you want to take this? For
Yep.
the battery?
Let's start with the first one. So the Yarbo there's the return to charge setting is adjustable. I think the standard it comes out at is at 20% battery level. It'll return to the base, charge up to 80%, and then go out and finish the work. But if you've got an extremely long driveway or something, you could easily increase that and have it return at 30% instead of 20% to make sure you have enough power to go back. It's fully adjustable. I touched base a little bit on the snow deposited by the transportation department at the end. That snow right now is really the only challenge. I don't think I've found a complete solution to get around. I mean, I've always been able to clear it manually with remote control, but to get Yarbo, probably 70% of the time I can get it to clear autonomously. When I create my driveway maps, I always take the bottom 3 feet of my driveway, and that's its own individual map. And I do that for two reasons. One, if I've got my driveway cleared and then the city comes and deposits the snow, there's no reason to have it run the whole driveway to go out and just clean that snow. So I've got that as a separate mapping area, and I can change the way it deals with it. If it's not much snow at all, I can have Yarbo run the lengthwise of the driveway and clear it. If it's a bigger pile of snow, I can make the overlap to the maximum, which I believe is 12 inches. So when he's going back and forth through it, he's only eating up, 6 inches of the actual snow. But I don't think I've ever had a case where I haven't been able to grab the handheld remote control and clear the snow with manual control where you're actually controlling what it does. So I think that was all of the questions, but yeah, so, and the other reason I have the bottom couple of feet of my driveway set as an individual area is I don't add that automatically to any of my plans. If I want to be up and awake when it's doing that for multiple reasons. I mean, if he's out there working it and the plow comes by at that time, the plow, even though he's got a flashing light, depending on snow conditions, there is a chance he might not see Yarbo there and working. So that's the other reason I've assigned, the bottom few feet of my driveway as a separate zone. So I can be up and monitor when he's working that area close to the road.
Right. I see Eggert has his hands raised.
Yeah, I think you can.
Just
Yeah, I
unmute.
think yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, hello, Yarbo. I'm wondering, I'm one of the backers, and been waiting for my Yarbo, and was thinking I didn't have to mow the lawn this year, but I'm okay with waiting. Well, way better product that I'm getting, and but what will be included in the package? I know I bought all the 3 modules, but what will be the like tow hitch and remote and that all?
Yeah, sure. So I have made a post on the Facebook group, and
Yeah, okay.
when you buy a Yarbo core, it will include the docking station, the battery, the data center, which is also the RTK, and the remote control. So basically, you don't have to buy any accessories from the shop
Yes.
if you
And
bought
I get the
Yarbo
core module, then that's with it.
Mhm.
I'm one of the backers in a Kickstarter, early backers. So I
Yeah,
will
I
get
think it's-
the
All the backers.
Oh, okay.
the
I
add-on
think
on
his
the front.
real question is they're going to replace everything that you've got. You're going to get the new version of.
Yeah,
The only
I
question
haven't
think
gotten
is-
anything. I haven't gotten. I
You're-
live in Norway. I never gotten anything. So I'm
Okay,
just
so
wondering
you'll get the
what
new
will be in the
versions
whole
of
package when
everything. Yep.
Yep.
That's
New
good.
versions of everything.
And can I buy extra antenna if I want to use the Yarbo on a different place?
For now, the answer is no. Because
Okay.
we have not enabled the public entry, and I think for more scenarios, it will be a commercial use to have Yarbo on different locations.
Yes.
So for now, we do not have that option. So just one
Yes, okay.
location.
I'm a groundkeeper in cemeteries, and I'm thinking of using it there. So, but the one with the money is very interested in this thing, and will probably buy a set for every 4 of the places I manage. So
Oh, nice.
yes,
Make sure you use the referral program, all right?
yeah, exactly. But that's
Okay.
why I was asking about the extra antenna, so I can use the antenna, have one that I can set up there. But okay, that's
Right.
it.
Thank you. Thank you for asking. All right, let's move on.
Yes, I think we have a couple more questions in the chat area. So a question from Wayne. I believe he's also one of our current Yarbo owners. And I think he's asking like what degree of confidence is there that connectivity issues are a thing out of the past?
We're pretty confident. I would say like for testings that we are doing right now, we haven't seen the connectivity issues anymore. And for the GPS, I cannot stand for your position because we don't know the satellites numbers and environments. Yes, the settings you have on your place. But at our testing centers, we do not have GPS issues and connectivity issues. But for GPS, you might need to test it for yourself to see how the satellites works around your area. But yeah, definitely no connectivity issues.
Yeah, I think and
That's why
Vincent
we
has
changed-
shared a very detailed technical what is the video?
Yeah, data center.
Specifically on the data center and the connectivity issues. So
Yeah.
please feel free to check it out if you haven't.
So the whole reason we changed our structure to Halo is to resolve that issue, right? So otherwise we didn't have to do it. So yeah.
Right. Let's move on to the next question. When mowing a hill, can you have it mow up and down hill versus going across side of hill? So I believe Scott is testing our pre-production of the mower right now. So Scott, have you encountered this
I have
scenario
encountered this.
for you yet?
Yes, its mowing path is fully adjustable by that. But I'm guessing his concern comes from, I've had other robotic lawnmowers. As I say, I've been a tester for other versions, and mowing side to side on hills were an issue. I've got a fairly not steep hill driveway, or steep hill, but I'm guessing 20% grade. I mean, I do not have a flat yard. I've got a nice hilly, curvy yard, and Yarbo excels at mowing it at any direction you want. I mean, it'll mow sideways hills without sliding or trying to turn down. It'll climb the hills. It'll turn in the middle of the hills. Yarbo, with its tracks and the inserts, I've been impressed with how able its ability to handle hills. Nobody's going to have an issue with a hill. I mean, as I say, it'll do whatever you want. As I say, you can change the course of the path. It'll automatically change the course of the path, but the cutting quality on it with that floating deck does something that, I've got a zero steer lawnmower, so it's, if I try to mow that hill on a sideways, it's hard. It wants to keep going downhill. Yarbo holds that pattern fine, and the other nice thing the floating deck does is when that hill levels out to the bottom, the deck maintains that cutting height. I mean, with my zero steer, as I'm making that transition there, I mean, the grass will get considerably taller because the wheels have hit the hill, and the mower deck doesn't follow down to drop that. So yeah, you will be able to mow a hill in any direction you want, and you're going to be impressed with its hill mowing capabilities.
Okay. All right. So let's move forward to the next question from Rick. What type of protection does Yarbo have to keep someone from stealing it? About the anti-theft.
Anti-theft features.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start with that first. I've got some contacts in local law enforcement statewide here, and we've had some discussions about it. In the early days of robotic lawnmowers, where you were talking buried wire, there was way more complex or issues with stealing. With the new wireless technology, they've admitted, even the crooks are starting to figure out, in most cases, a crook's looking at felony theft for taking something that's not going to operate once he gets it out of there. I mean, they're not the brightest people, but to go and commit felony theft to have a object sit around your yard that's not going to function without the RTK antenna, it doesn't have a resale value. It's high risk for them, and little to no reward, because the value is not there without the complete systems. The fact that Yarbo's 200 pounds, I mean, it's one of my friends in law enforcement was actually considered buying one, and yeah, he's got zero concern. I mean, it's the fact that you need all the pieces to make it function, being the RTK antenna, the charging base, in most cases is fast in the ground, and Yarbo's weight of 200 pounds, your theft issues there aren't that great. I mean, he'll add it to his homeowner's policy, but they're really not seeing theft with any of them, and it's not just Yarbo. I mean, any of your perimeter wire ones, they had a few issues at first when they first came out, but as soon as they figured out there's no resale value because they don't have all the pieces, their theft in the inner cities is really curbed on the robotic mowers. So, and as I say, I do know I'll let you touch on it, but the 2024 now it's fully trackable, even power off. So that's going to deter them even more from taking Yarbo.
That's right. I'm just gonna add on to the geofence Scott just mentioned. So so with the 2024 version, even if you power off the Yarbo, the battery will still provide electricity for the RTK component. And we have tested, it can still run the component for 10 days if you have a full battery, right? So just shut off your Yarbo and it will still run for 10 days and you can still track it.
Yep. Okay. We have a question from Brenna. It might be nice to have an end of driveway mode that is designed to clear that hard packed snow. It sounds like Scott's an expert. We might not be as savvy. Yeah, Scott, do you have any insights for the end of driveway stuff?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said. When you set up your zone, have Yarbo stop a couple of feet short of your end of the driveway and just create that. You're not limited on the number of work areas it's got. So just take your end of a driveway, make it its very own work area, because you can customize in the app how it's going to handle that. I mean, if it's going to, Yarbo Snow you've got all kinds of adjustability there. You auger speed, blah, blah, blah. When you're doing your standard driveway, you typically aren't going to need a turbo auger speed. The end of your driveway, you might want to enable that, and that's also a power savings. And by making that an individual area, you can control that and have it run just turbo mode when it's clearing that last work area at the end of your driveway. So essentially, they've already got what she's looking for. You just set that up as an individual area and don't include that as part of your driveway, and you should be able to achieve what you want there.
Yep.
Okay. Another question from Betty. I'm so excited to try this. Can you buy extra modules? Should I feel I need to do it need it at a later time? Would there be discounts for earlier backers for the modules? So Betty, are you a Kickstarter backer for us? So yeah, I mean currently all the 35% off discount we're providing on our website is definitely the best deal for this year. So if you want to get another modules, we would like recommend you purchasing them directly from our website. For
When I was
through our current, yeah.
When I was asking about module, like I didn't get the leaf blower.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure I need the leaf blower. So, there's a cost savings if I don't need it. And then, but I'm really excited, but this is a big jump for me. I have 6 acres to mow and I have a quarter-mile driveway to snow blow. And even at the bottom, I've got a big area where the transportation dump, where the snowplow dumps stuff. Anyway, so I've got a number of challenges, and then my slope is, some parts is really severe. So I have a feeling some of those areas will be no-go areas.
Okay.
So I'm expecting to mark some of this a lot of different ways. I guess it's going to be real interesting because I am going to challenge that slope.
Do you have a measurement for the slope? Like estimated?
Well, most of the slope falls within your guidelines, but I do have some in excess of the 36 degrees. So I'm expecting that not to work. I'm calling that my embankments because I've got an area around the driveway where it goes down and then goes up the hill. So it's like a little trench, and then water goes into culverts and goes under the road and goes to the other side. I know it sounds like I have a golf course, but I don't. It's just, I have a hill and it's beautiful up there, but it's a pain too.
I understand. So,
Betty,
you know what,
Betty?
Betty?
That area?
I'm sorry?
Do you clear that area? That area, that trench, do you actually clear that area there, or do you just let that melt? The embankment there, that trench area?
I'm not worried about snow blowing the embankment. I'm only worried about snow blowing the driveway.
So yeah,
but for the yard mowing, I'm looking at clearing more of the grass, for yard mowing.
Right. So there, I think you would be achievable. As I say, Yarbo's excelled on hills for me. I would likely, I mean, just looking at it without seeing it physically, I would set that up as its own area and have Yarbo work that area sideways, lengthwise. So it's running at an angle on the hill instead of going up and down. And I think you'd be fine. I mean, Yarbo with his tracks has got excellent traction. So and I'm not sure if I'm seeing this, and maybe they can clarify. It seems some of the hills where I've challenged it turning sideways, it seems Yarbo learns if it struggles to turn one direction or another, and it actually starts preferring to turn the other direction. And I'm not sure if there's learning algorithms in there or what, but another one of the testers has also mentioned he's got a pretty steep hill, and when it was trying to make a turn on the hill, he noticed it was struggling trying to turn up the hill. So he modified all his turns so they went down the hill and started clearing that way. And I don't know if that was built into the algorithm or if it learned or if it just changed on its own, luckily.
Yeah, so for that, the algorithm is actually set for escaping the stuck situations, right? So it wasn't Yarbo knowing that there's a slope, but Yarbo understand that it's getting stuck. So that's why it changed the directions.
But yeah, I think if you set that up as that sloped area as a separate section, and then you can choose in the app which path it takes to do that. It might want to go up and down the hill, and then you would just open the app and tell it to alter its path by 20 or 30 degrees so your lines run so he's running sideways on the hill. I think you'll be fine and be able to achieve that.
Right.
I think we have one more question from Steve. Will you be posting the self campaign progress, like number of units? So yeah, actually, I think we had a meeting last week. So because for currently the campaign is for the discounts for the first 100 and 500, no, the 1,500 units, right? So as we're approaching that number, we will make an official like email to our users on this. So that's all the questions from the common area. So anybody want to talk or?
Want to share anything?
Yep. We still have like 17 of you guys hanging around here.
Right. Okay. If there's all questions, then I think we can share our visions about like future modules or you know, what do you want Yarbo to accomplish for you?
So Scott, what's the first thing that you will request Yarbo to make for future modules? What's the number one? What's the top priority?
Well, my number one priority is already in the works. I mean, I am just dying to get a granular spreader. I mean, I do have golf cart type grass, and I mean, I spend a lot of time applying granular products to my yard. I mean, weed killer, fertilizer. So I am just dying for the granular spreader. Other than that, I would really like to see. I had time to experience the EcoFlow blade for a bit, and I was lucky enough to have the back bagger for it with its power sweeper. And I would love to see a module for Yarbo that would accommodate that and then go dump. There's just so many uses I can see. I've got a bunch of oaks here, so later in the fall I spend days and days picking up acorns with an acorn picker. And I mean, for the kennel areas, I mean, it'd be able to pick up the dog deposits, sweep them up and bring them to a part of the yard and dump them off, and instead of me manually picking that up. So I would love to see some sort of sweeping bagger, either as a front or rear attachment, and extra bonus if it can go to the designated place in the yard, dump itself, and come back and go again. That would be my number one that I don't believe is on the immediate roadmap or timeline.
Got it.
What will be your like top priority if we're gonna make another module?
Me?
Yeah.
The picker.
The picker?
Yeah, I mean, just picking up.
Dog poop?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think
I mean, yeah, Yarbo Arms might be able to do that if they ever get the arm feature. I know a lot of people are looking at the Yarbo Arms that they originally advertised, and that might be able to do it. But yeah, a power sweeper bagger, where it could. I mean, I think that would be a huge hit for a lot of people. I mean, potentially leaves. I did find out, as I say, with the EcoFlow, the bagger's useless for them because it's 15 leaves, you're full, and it requires manual intervention to empty. So I mean, the leaf blower is probably the better process for that. But I mean, yardsticks. I mean, oaks are notoriously dirty for dropping pieces of sticks. I mean, the sweeper would be able to go out and bag them, 12-inch sticks and dump them off, so I wouldn't have to manually pick them up.
I have another question. It has to do with we have trees that will drop some rather large branches from time to time. And this has more to do with the mowing than it would. Well, I guess it could apply to the snow blower too, but the mowing, like right now, I've done some mowing and I've gone around the stuff with the idea I'll go back with a truck later on and pick this stuff up and move it to a safe place. And then obviously I have to go back and mow. So I guess how does the Yarbo just know to go around this stuff? Because it's a real unusual shape. You got skinny pieces, you got big fat pieces, you got some of it raised up, some of it down. I don't know. It's just branches are unusual shapes.
I understand.
Can-
So yeah, like I
got-
mentioned before.
I
Go ahead,
got
Scott.
that one if you want. I got my they enabled vision on my M1 here just a couple of days ago, and it'll detect everything down to a small branches with leaves, and that's what it does. It'll literally do the same thing you do with a lawnmower. It'll detect that as an obstacle, and it'll actually go around it. I mean, they're working on fine tuning some of that. At some points, it's driving. It's so sensitive. It's actually one of the testers is having some issues with tall grass spurts. It's actually driving around them as obstacles because if it's not sure, it's going to drive around it. And as I say, I've been through this process before with a snowblower and the other stuff. That the team is great at working it out, and they'll get better at identifying what they should be going through and not. But with the camera systems and the technology they got in Yarbo, right now it's going around anything it sees in the lawn that's abnormal. But they're fine tuning that, and it should only get better.
Yes, just consider it as a less powerful human eyes and the less powerful human brains, right? So if the branches and sticks are distinguishingly visually different from the grass, it will detect it.
Yeah, but if it's like buried under the
Buried
grass,
under.
like even you cannot tell if there's a branch over there, like highly possible Yarbo will not be able to see it, to detect it as well.
Yeah, that's right.
But in most cases, that's been talked about. In most cases, if it's buried in the grass, most people aren't cutting that deep into the grass to do it. I mean, Yarbo is really meant as a maintaining lawnmower, so you're cutting off a ½ inch most of the grass. So if there's a golf ball or something in your yard, that's going to be below your cutting depth. Most people are cutting their grass anywhere between 2 to 3 inches is probably the average. The blades are going to go over a golf ball or something that's embedded in the grass anyway without probably contacting it. So that's typically not an issue if you're in a maintenance. It's because it's not like you let the grass grow 3 inches and then cut 3 inches off where it can hide in the cutting surface. With the robotic lawnmower, it's typically visible if it's getting cut.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's one more question from Mike. Would be proactive to provide STLs for some replaceable parts, for example, TPU track links. Is that like the components for Yarbo? What
I'm
is
not sure what that
STL?
stands for.
Do you know what, Scott? Do you know what STL is? 3D print files for the components. The thing is for the latest Yarbo core, most of the main components will be enhanced with a quick detach features. So like for say like the headlight of your snowblower module is malfunction, so you don't have to ship us the whole snowblower module back. We will just ship you a headlight, and you can just quickly fix it by yourself. And I don't think there's any parts of Yarbo can be 3D printed.
No,
3D printed, right?
most part are metal and steel. That's why it weighs 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So not much chance for the 3D printers. But I just want to make it.
I think they were asking. I mean, the main, and I think I know where this comes from. I think he's probably worried about the cutting discs. Yarbo has done a much better job at making them price competitive. I know currently I've got an equal flow blade, and I want to say the cutting disc for them is pushing close to $100. I think Yarbo's cutting discs are reasonably priced at around $9 or $10. For most people, it's not going to pay to print them yourself, but I think that's where his concern comes from. Is there's a lot of 3D printed versions of that stuff out there because the cost is so enormous on the replacements.
Right.
Oh, I see. And for the mower blades, I think we have 2 pairs of blades. included in the package, right, for the mower.
Yeah.
Like 2 pairs of the blades, and if you need any additional blades, you can get them directly from our website. And I think you can actually get those are standard blades, right? So meaning
Like
that
standard
is standard blades, right?
Mhm.
So like you guys can get it at any
Local
local
shop.
shop, yeah, Home Depot or anywhere.
Yeah, the replacement blades that was caught up. I mean, your blades will probably last you 2 to 3 months of daily cutting on, let's say, a 3-acre lot. So if you're doing 3 acres, your blades will probably have a 2-month cycle, and then they're flippable, so they've got a cutting edge on the other side, so they don't have to be replaced the first time. So you really get 2 uses out of them. And I don't know if they're not that expensive to replace. I mean, to give you an idea, when I were buying replacement blades for my last robotic lawnmower, it cost me more money to have my lawnmower blade sharpened than it did to buy the replacement blades for my robotic lawnmower. So
Yeah.
I want to say they're $20 for a set that and it might be the set might actually do, I think did 2 replacements if I remember right. So much
Okay.
less inexpensive than a traditional lawnmower.
Yep. Alrighty, so I think that's basically all the questions we're having right now. So feel free to turn on your mic if you guys want to discuss about anything. And yeah,
I think we have covered everything.
okay.
Right. If there's no more questions.
Scott is super active and engaging in our community. So if you guys have any more questions for him, you can just post in our community for that. I think he will get back to you like real quick. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, as I say,
Okay.
they're right. I do follow the community pretty closely. So it's if you've got some questions, just go ahead and reach out. And there's a number of us that are active. We can get you the answers.
All right. So I believe someone's still typing in oh, thank you. Okay. All right. It's fine.
Right.
All right. No problem. All right. We will be hosting more user exchange forums as well as our demos for snowblower and lawnmower in the future. So, yeah, feel free to join in the party anytime when you're available. And I will just, yeah, I think.
Yeah, and just a quick leak. I actually saw the granular spreader today at the testing centers, and yeah, I did.
For the granular.
I think it's granular
Okay.
or liquid. I can't remember. But yeah, we would do demos for that too.
Okay.
It's for you, Scott.
Well, I could demo it. Any idea what the timeline is at, or is that still floating there? I know it was I think they were talking after the trimmer and edger attachments, but
Yep.
is that on the timeline for potentially next season or no?
Haven't decided.
I think currently they're aiming for
Next
spring.
year spring.
Okay.
Oh,
Granular
perfect.
spreader.
I mean, if
Oh, trimmer and edger.
if our users for trimmer,
Granular.
okay. I thought we were talking about the granular.
Oh yeah,
The
I was.
rear
Yeah,
attachment
I know the
and
trimmer and the edger are on the. Oh, they're hoping for a spring delivery next year. The granular spreaders, yeah, I'm curious about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll do demos on that. If the prototype is capable of doing demos, right?
Yes.
We'll
We'll show you guys.
definitely show it. Yeah.
Looks like Betty just posted on there that her granular spreader and her aerator for a mower. She is right. The aerator will work behind Yarbo once tow mode's enabled. The problem with most granular spreaders behind the Yarbo is there's no way to shut off the flow as it's making its turns. So it's the granular spreader. There's a couple of versions out there that'll auto stop when you stop, but you know, Yarbo doesn't have the capability when it finishes its pass to stop the flow of product, you know, with an aftermarket one, you know, and regain the product. So, and in most cases, I'm guessing the granular spreader won't be able to be a tow behind situation. That's what makes that's what's got me excited about Yarbo's granular spreader is I'm sure that it'll be able to control the flow. When it gets ready to turn around, it'll stop the flow to line up for the next row, then start the flow and do that. Where with your pull behind granular spreader, that's probably not going to be a good option. When it stops to make its turns for the next pass, it's going to continue to dump product and essentially burn the grass or damage the grass in the area that it's turning around in. But yeah, I've used Yarbo for pulling my lawn sweeper. I've used it for my aerator. I pulled wagon. So your aerator and all that stuff, yeah, you won't have any issues with, and as I say, that the plans are, I believe, to make Yarbo know the width of the attachments it's pulling so it can get the overlap rows correct. So that should work great for that.
Yep.
With commercial spreaders, one of the problems is the speed of the Yarbo. All those pull behinds are calibrated at 3 miles an hour. And so the fact that the max speed of the Yarbo is only
0.7.
Oh, it's 2.7?
No, 0.7.
Is it 2.7 or is it 1.6?
What's the max speed of Yarbo?
Yeah. 0.7, like 0.7.
Meters, though, ain't it?
Oh, miles.
Oh, it is.
Meters.
Yep.
No,
Is that 100?
I think the spec is 2.3 feet per second, which ends up like
Yeah, I
1.6 miles per hour. So any of the commercial sprayers or spreaders, they're all set up for 3 to 3.5 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing is that we will be releasing our own tow behind attachment or modules, as you can see, and I think that will solve your concern
With like a specific Yarbo's.
Specific attachments.
Okay, instead of the
Other commercial
to be attached to it.
Yeah. So are you saying that Yarbo is too slow for your current settings?
Yeah, all of the commercial sprayers and spreaders are set up for 3 to 3.5 miles per hour. And if you go slower, they aren't going to work because they don't spread the product correctly. So, and I've actually sent a message in to see if there's a possibility. Right now, the max pulling of the Yarbo is like 3,600 pounds, and I sent an email and asked, is there a possibility of making a version that only has a pulling capacity of like 1,500 pounds, but will go faster, like 3 to 3.5 miles per hour, and then we'll open up the option of having all those commercial products. And of course, like Scott says, you have to come up with a way of shutting off the flow on the turns.
And
yeah, I
as I say,
understand.
Yeah, that's what
Nice
Yarbo. I mean, Yarbo's granular spreader is going to be fine tuned to that. I mean, and I haven't seen a whole lot on it, but it looks like you'll actually even be able to fine tune the amount of product it puts down per square inch. And it'll work. It'll work not only for your summer granular stuff, but it should also work for rock salt and stuff in the winter for driveways or sand.
Yeah, and I don't think we are able to increase the driving speed for Yarbo because we need to make sure the safety is top priority. If Yarbo is moving too fast, there will be issues with the obstacle avoidance and Yarbo stopping and bumping into things. So there's that, and then with our own granular spreader, the flows can be controlled, and so yeah, I don't think that's an issue with the Yarbo.
With the liquid spreader.
Yeah.
But we will share the specs. All right, go ahead.
I thought I read somewhere and I haven't been able to find it. Is there plans to maybe make the blower module, the leaf blower module, mountable on the back of the unit? Did I see something about that?
Yes, we do. That's potentially, but
Okay.
yeah, we are still discussing. I think Ken mentioned it in his live stream, right?
Yeah,
So
that's where I think I missed the live stream, but I heard something about it, so I didn't know if that was the plan or.
Yeah, it's possible, but we need to evaluate. Like, do we have to make it attached to the rear? So yeah.
Because the rear part has power.
Yeah,
now, right?
it's totally theoretically, technically it's possible, definitely.
Okay.
Mm.
So right now the current roadmap plan is a front mount module only.
Yep.
Okay. That answered my question.
I have a question on the trimmers. They're attached to the mower, right? So you have to have a mower in order to trim.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Oh, just
That's it.
yeah, you need a mower too, and add that trimmer attachment for trimming.
Right. Okay.
Okie doke. All right. So if we do not have more questions, we can end today's
The first forum.
the first forum, the very first one. Yeah, we're gonna have
The very
more.
first one. Yeah, we are gonna definitely host more of this, and if there's anything else you wanna know about or are concerned with, any more content, any other contents you want us to demo, just leave a post in the Facebook group, and we will definitely hop into it. Yep.
All right. Thank you, Scott, and
Thank you all
everyone.
for joining today.
And yeah, have a great one, guys.
Right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.